Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Surabhi Sharma. The top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 22nd of May. Two terrorists neutralized in India's Jammu and Kashmir. India successfully launches an Earth observation satellite. And Sri Lanka marks 1 month of Easter Sunday bombings. And now for all the details. Two terrorists were neutralized by security forces in an encounter in Kulgam district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday. Huge cache of arms and ammunition were also recovered from the possession of slain terrorists.
Two terrorists belonging to Hizbul Mujahideen terror group were gunned down by the security forces in an encounter in Kulgam district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday. The encounter started after the security forces launched a cordon and search operation following specific information about the presence of terrorists in Gopalpora area of the district. The slain terrorists were identified as Zahid Mantu and Irfan Ahmed Bhatt. Security forces also recovered huge cache of arms and ammunition from their possession.
Last night, security forces received specific information about the presence of militants in village Gopalpura of district Kulgam. Based on the information, an operation was carried out. When the searches were going on, the hiding terrorists fired on the security forces, leading to a gun battle, and two terrorists were neutralized in the ensuing gun battle.
India has long accused Pakistan of arming and infiltrating the terrorists across the border to spread unrest in Kashmir Valley. Pakistan denies the allegations.
Indian Space Agency on Wednesday successfully launched an Earth observation satellite from its southern spaceport of Sriharikota. The radar imaging satellite 2B will boost India's capabilities in various spheres including surveillance, agriculture, forestry and disaster management.
Four, three, two, 1, 0.
Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO on Wednesday successfully launched an Earth observation satellite from its southern spaceport of Sriharikota. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-46 carried radar imaging satellite 2B or RISAT-2B into space and injected it into the low Earth orbit of nearly 344 miles with inclination of 37 degrees in a pre-dawn mission. After confirming the successful launch of the satellite, ISRO Chairman K. Sivan said the second mission to Moon, Chandrayaan-2, that will take place in July, will land on the Moon on September 6th.
PSLV C-46 has successfully injected RISAT-2B precisely in the designated orbit of 555 km with inclination of 37 degrees.
RISAT-2B will boost India's capabilities in various spheres including surveillance, agriculture, forestry and disaster management. The satellite has been equipped with a synthetic aperture radar and has the potential of capturing images in both day and night and in all weather conditions.
Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj and her Chinese counterpart Wang Yi on Wednesday held talks in Kyrgyzstan's capital Bishkek as two South Asian giants continue to build on a thaw in ties after a military standoff on their disputed border in 2017. The two leaders held talks on issues of bilateral interest on the sidelines of Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO ministers' meeting. China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Tajikistan and Uzbekistan formed the security bloc in 2001, which India and Pakistan joined 2 years ago. In news from Pakistan, at a time when Muslims across the world are celebrating the holy month of Ramadan, people in Pakistan are dreading about a price hike. Locals in the country's Karachi city said the prices should be anyway less in Ramadan as it's the time of fasting and feasting.
As Muslims across the world are undergoing rigorous fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, locals in Pakistan's Karachi city are dreading about a price hike. They said the prices should be anyway less in the month of fasting, as people in the Muslim majority country only eat before sunrise and after sunset. Apart from the prices of goods in the country, fuel prices were also increased earlier this month.
बाखुदा आप यकीन करें, अगर मैं सहरी के लिए दूध लेकर आता हूं तो मुझे अफ्तार के लिए पता नहीं होता कि मैं कुछ लेकर जाऊंगा या नहीं लेकर जाऊंगा। अभी आप ये देखें कि ये पापड़ जो 5 रुपए का था रमज़ान से पहले, अब ये 7 रुपए की एक थैली हो गई है। तो ये कौन है, इसका जिम्मेदार कौन है? मैं हुक्मरानों से जवाब तलब करता हूँ, हुक्मरानों से सवाल पूछता हूँ कि इस महंगाई का जिम्मेदार कौन है? क्या आप लोगों की जिम्मेदारी नहीं है?
महंगाई तो बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाती है रमज़ान में, जबकि रेट कम से कम होने चाहिए हर रोज़ेदार के लिए, ताकि वो रोज़ा अच्छे तरीके से अपने घर में इफ्तार कर सके, वो अपने बच्चों को अच्छी से अच्छी चीज़ खिला सके।
Ramadan may be a month of fasting, but for many Muslims it also involves a gastronomical feast. The holy month began on May 5th this year and will draw a close around June 4th, depending on the sighting of the new moon.
In news from Afghanistan, US Commander in Afghanistan General Scott Miller has said that Al-Qaeda elements are seen across Afghanistan. Miller, after sharing the information, added that the United States will continue its cooperation and partnership with the Afghan forces and said that the forces are focusing on precision in their operations to protect civilians.
The US and NATO forces commander in Afghanistan, General Scott Miller, has said that there are some indications about the movements of Al-Qaeda elements in some parts of Afghanistan, but gave no details about the nature of these movements. Miller said the United States will continue its cooperation and partnership with the Afghan forces and the Afghan citizens. He added the resolute support forces are focusing on precision in their operations to protect civilians.
We've seen Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, yes.
بله، ما القاعده را در افغانستان دیده ایم. در بخش‌های گوناگون افغانستان آنان را دیده ایم.
Parts of Afghanistan we can find them. So it's not one particular region, it's across the country.
This comes at a time when a new UN report reveals that more civilians were killed in Afghan conflict last year than any time since records have been kept. The report documented 3,804 civilian deaths, including 927 children in 2018.
More on news from Afghanistan. Afghan presidential candidates have warned to use any option if President Ashraf Ghani remains in power after May 22nd, when the National Unity Government's legal term is ending. Despite the pressure from the presidential candidates, the Supreme Court last month extended President Ghani's tenure until the elections. The Council of Presidential Candidates in Afghanistan on Tuesday once again warned that they will use any option against the incumbent government if President Ashraf Ghani does not leave his office on May 22nd or if he does not reach a political consensus with the Afghan politicians about the end of his tenure. Based on Article 62 of Afghanistan's constitution, May 22nd marks the end of the National Unity Government's legal term. The presidential candidates called on Ghani to respect the constitution. Despite the pressure from the presidential candidates, the Supreme Court has extended President Ghani's tenure until the elections.
باید از تدبیر از عقل کار بگیرن، نگذارن که حکومت غیر قانونی شروع شود.
نظام در مخالفت با قانون ایجاد شده و 4 سال و چند ماه دوام کرده. حالا ما بعد از 4 سال و چند ماه نمیتونیم او را در قانون تعریف بکنیم و برش توجیه پیدا کنیم.
Presidential elections in Afghanistan are scheduled to be held on September 28th after 2 times delay, while it had to be held in April based on a previous schedule. The candidates suggest a caretaker government, which according to them will prevent power gap. Moving on, people in Sri Lanka on Tuesday held an emotional remembrance service to mark 1 month since the Easter Sunday bombings by Islamic militants that killed more than 250 and injured over 500. Catholic schools in capital Colombo also reopened on the day amid tight security.
Sri Lankan Catholics on Tuesday held an emotional remembrance service to mark 1 month since the Easter Sunday bombings by Islamist militants that killed more than 250 and injured over 500. St. Anthony's Catholic Church in the capital Colombo was one of the 3 churches attacked. Hundreds of devotees, including many relatives of the victims, stood in silence as the church bells were rung at the exact time the bomb went off. They also participated in a remembrance service held outside a damaged shrine which is still under repair.
Like at 8:40, I look at the clock at what time will be the mass finish, and that was the time at 8:40. Within some time, a huge flame came into my eyes and I fell down. Once I fell down, I opened my eyes and I saw my sister, and she was coming to me and like calling Akka. Once I turned my head for the left side, my dada was bleeding.
Christ, at this moment, let us remember all those who are called to eternal rest on 21st April because of the tragic bomb blast. Let us remember all those who have wounded. Remember all the families who have affected.
Meanwhile, Catholic schools in Colombo also reopened on Tuesday amid tight security and bag checks for students and staff. Other schools had opened 2 weeks earlier, but officials said attendance was low as some parents still fear for the safety of their children.
Scores of priests on Tuesday gathered in Kinnaur district of India's northern Himachal Pradesh province to perform Tandav Aarti, a ritual to worship holy water bodies on the banks of river Satluj. The ritual was performed to promote pilgrimage tourism in the hilly province, besides giving a message to the people to keep the river clean. A famous Hindu ritual of worshipping the holy water bodies was performed on Tuesday on river Satluj in Kinnaur district of India's northern Himachal Pradesh province. The ritual known as Tandav Aarti was performed by special priests hailing from India's spiritual capital Varanasi. Locals dressed in their traditional attires danced to the tunes of drums to mark the occasion. The ritual was performed with an aim of promoting pilgrimage tourism in the hilly province, besides giving a message to the people to keep the river clean.
इस वर्ष का थीम जो हमने रखा है कि सतलुज नदी को स्वच्छ रखें, निर्मल रखें, और इस स्वच्छता के प्रति जो सतलुज बेसिन में हम कार्य कर रहे हैं, आम लोगों को भी इसमें हिस्सेदार बनाना चाहते हैं.
The ritual of performing Tandav Aarti on the banks of holy river holds special significance among Hindus who consider rivers as sacred. An Aarti is a devotional ritual that uses fire as an offering. It is usually performed by priests holding large lamps in their hands and encircling them in clockwise direction. Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. 2 terrorists neutralized in India's Jammu and Kashmir. India successfully launches an Earth observation satellite. And Sri Lanka marks 1 month of Easter Sunday bombings. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.